Ahora vamos a ver un poco la diferencia entre tener y haber. Son verbos que normalmente se confunden. Speakers of English while learning Spanish, because you're thinking in English and try to translate exactly word for word into Spanish, it leads to misunderstandings and grammar mistakes. Just because in English you have the verb to have, tener, to have, like possession, to own. Also you use it as an auxiliary verb in other tenses, like I have eaten or she had bought a car. So when you say she had bought a car, when the had in that sentence, you're not expressing that she had the car. I have eaten, it's not that I have anything, just expressing that recently I ate. But in Spanish, we differentiate these two verbs completely. Because tener, we use it as to have something in your pocket or to have the years in you. We use tener to have, to express age. Yo tengo 42 años. Ella tiene 25 años. So, 42 o tantos años. We use tener also to express possession or ownership. So possessions, por ejemplo, ellos tienen una casa. Ella tenía 8 gatos. ¿Sí? So she had 8 cats or they had a house. So this is things that they own that are part of their possessions. We use also tener to express obligation. So tú tienes que, and of course it's express obligation, but you always need the que in order to express that obligation. Tú tienes que estudiar. You have to study. Español. And we use also tener for some expressions that in Spanish, of course in Spanish they make perfect sense. In English though you use the verb to be, like to be hungry or to be hot or to be cold. So, but in Spanish we use the verb tener because you have hunger and you have the cold, and when you're saying like yo tengo frío, it's because it seems that your body inside has got the cold and it's feeling it. So that's why we use it that way. And so expressions, okay, like nosotros teníamos hambre, we had hunger, we were hungry. Él tiene sueño, like someone feels sleepy. Usted tiene frío, yo tengo mucho calor. So to have cold or to feel hot. So this is how we use the verb tener, alright? So to express all that, or of course in the present perfect or in the past perfect, you still use it. Yo había tenido 20 años. I had 20 years back in the day, many years ago. However, haber, it's an auxiliary verb, but you see it from the very beginning of learning Spanish, because we use a lot the following expression, I. And of course, it ends with no hay vacas en la luna, as far as I know. There aren't any cows in the moon. Hay estudiantes en casa. So in your home, probably there's at least one student, maybe you. So, hay estudiantes en casa. So, hay vacas. See that hay is used for the plural. Hay vacas, no hay vacas en la luna. Or hay estudiantes en casa. There are students at home. But you could also say hay una profesora aquí. So, hay una profesora, there is a teacher. And with I, it's usually follow, if it's a thing that you can count, you'll put the number. If it's something that you cannot count, like milk or juice, so hay leche en el refrigerador o la heladera o en el frigorífico. Notice that Frigorífico is one word for refrigerator, but in the Spanish-speaking countries, you'll have many ways of calling it. So be open to always learning a new word, depending on where you travel. So, hay leche. Leche we cannot count unless you mentioned un cartón de leche o algo así. So we have hay. Then we have había for when we talk about what things were in a place back in the day. So, for example, había muchas personas. There were many people. Había un gato en el tejado. There was a cat on the roof. El tejado. And notice that the J, it's always the sound. Había un gato, and the G before the A, gato. Había un gato en el tejado. So there was a cat in the roof. So había for plural, for muchas personas, and había also for the singular. There was. We use the word hubo to also talk about there was something or some things. Hubo 8 accidentes ayer. So in this case, we would use hubo, there was or there were. In this case, there were 8 accidents yesterday. Well, when there's an accident, it's like something that happens very fast and very specific. When you're saying that there were many people, well, those people were in a place, and think of it as a background information in a picture. So all the background information, all that you see in the landscape, it's used with había. And hubo is to express that something happened, like there was an accident or there was a big opportunity at some point. Hubo una gran oportunidad. Something that it only happens once and not repeatedly with like in había. So these are 3 uses with haber that are oftenly used in Spanish. Hay, había, and hubo. We also use it for other verbs in compound tenses. So all compound tenses, and remember compound tenses are verbs, are tenses that use 2 words. The auxiliary verb and the verb that carries the meaning. So, in the present tense of haber, it will be the present perfect. Has, hemos, habéis, vosotros, because it's the you all only in Spain. So, has, hemos, han. Okay, and this would be for the present perfect. And then you need ido, casado, married, gone, tenido, had, aprendido, learned, ganado, won. So, comido or vivido, when you have lived in a place. Remember that this present perfect implies that something is still happening now. Okay? So, has, hemos, han, that's haber, but in the present tense all conjugated. And then we have, I hope there's still room here, for the past perfect, okay? For the past perfect, you have había, habías, había, habíais, habíamos, nosotros habíamos y vosotros habíais, y ellos habían. So notice that this is for the past perfect. Alright? So I had gone, yo había ido a África. Él había ido a África. He had gone to Africa. Tú habías ido al lago. You had gone to the lake. Remember that this ido can apply to any of the persons here. Never changes, never change the past participle. Ella, usted, había trabajado. You had worked somewhere. Yo había trabajado en España. So this hado or ido, ellos habían abierto, they had opened la puerta. Ellos habían abierto la puerta. They had opened the door. Abierto, irregular verb. Or cerrado, closed. So Notice how different tener and haber are used in Spanish. So auxiliary verb here, don't think these are the only ones that we'll be seeing. However, if you know this, you'll be able to talk about the past and the recent past very easily because you'll just be memorizing these endings. And not memorizing, but once you know that it's ado and ido for regular verbs, and most of them are, you will not have any problems with it. Alright? So remember that tener has a meaning in Spanish, and in English we use have or has eaten or such. This is the auxiliary, and in this case we had or we had eaten or gone or buried, eaten or drunk. He has drunk a gallon of milk. So remember that in English you'll be using had and have or has as an auxiliary. Bueno, hasta luego.